People in the West romanticize their behavior as anything other than barbaric. These people are not your allies. They are not the same as us. They come from an inferior culture. I don't feel bad for them. I don't feel sorry for them. They're terrible people.
Recently, the one and only Asmongold, who you've probably seen in your YouTube recommended because you accidentally clicked on one of his videos, watching another video in its entirety, and now every single other video you're being recommended is the exact same thing. Well, what actually happened the other day is he was banned from Twitch, and this is because of certain things that he said. Certain things that I'm pretty sure you've seen if you've used Twitter for more than 5 seconds.
Put a bullet in my head and kill me right now. Do it!
Now, this ban is a temporary one. It isn't a permanent one, but I still think it's more than fair enough to talk about it. What Asmongold did, and this is the reason why a lot of big commentary channels like Critical will not talk about it. If you talk about anything to do with politics, anything at all, you're screwed, right? Honestly, on the internet right now, unfortunately, it is better to pick a side than to have no side at all. Because, you know, if you're left-leaning, the right will hate you. If you're right-leaning, the left will hate you. But then, if you sit in the middle with milquetoast takes, everyone hates you. So I can already feel like the aura coming around me right now, me even talking about this topic. So Asmon went on a tangent about the ongoing genocide happening in Gaza regarding Israel and Palestine, as well as some comments aimed towards Palestine and Muslim people in general. And believe me, there were some comments, some words were said. So the clip started off with Asmon talking about how genocide is built into Sharia law. And then he says he's not going to cry them a river or really care about them because, in his own words, they are terrible people.
If you want to consider a genocide as a systematic killing of a group of people, they have genocide built into Sharia law right now. So no, I'm not going to cry a fucking river when people who have genocide that's baked into their laws are getting genocided. They're terrible people.
And then he continues by saying they're not able to kill as many people because they're inferior, as well as their culture.
And how much did they kill? As many as they can. They're not able to kill as many people as Israel because they don't have as many bombs and as many weapons. But if they did, they'd be doing the same thing. These people are not your allies. They are not the same as us. They come from an inferior culture that is horrible. It kills people for their identity, and it is directly antithetical to everything Western values stand for, and it is an inferior culture in all ways.
And then he ends the clip by basically saying he doesn't feel bad for them. He doesn't feel sorry for them.
It is that simple. No, I don't feel bad for them. I don't feel sorry for them. I don't care. I don't support them.
And then a separate clip surfaced of Asmon basically saying that Palestine people are barbaric.
And you know what else is disgusting? That people in the West that enjoy more privileges and freedom than anywhere else in the world romanticize their behavior or their lifestyle as anything other than barbaric.
So yeah, the clips going around in general is basically Asmongold directing a lot of hate towards Palestinian people. And then not too long after that, Hassan Piker found these clips and then reacted to it on stream, which really isn't surprising because Hassan has always been someone that talks about, you know, political related content. And again, when a streamer becomes political people tend to cover that. So in the stream, Hassan is basically pleading to Asmongold to get off Reddit, go outside and talk to someone instead of continuing to share this hateful rhetoric. And then there was a comment in Hassan's stream that he responded to because, as we know, if he sees one bad comment, he gets stun locked for 30 minutes talking about it. But there was someone in the comments basically saying, you do the same, but for the other side. You don't go against Palestinian people, you go against Jewish people.
This is what people think you say about Israel. I know. I know. Like, if you were to say this about Judaism, understandably and rightfully, you would get banned, and you should get banned. Like, if I were to ever say this about, if I were to ever say like, oh, Jewish culture is this way, I would literally be Adolf Hitler, okay? It's fucking ridiculous. For the record, I don't believe that about Judaism, regardless of how much my psychopathic rabid haters try to claim. I believe it.
Asmon then asks to call Hassan so they can have, like, you know, a debate about it, which is the one video on YouTube I would never want to watch in my life. So Asmon, for his statements, got a lot of backlash. Now, Asmongold is no stranger to drama, but usually what happens when Asmongold gets into any kind of trouble, he'll basically chalk it up to being like, you know, haters or the woke mob. But this was such an insurmountable amount of hate that he kind of had to backpedal a little bit. So he basically put out a statement saying that he was a bit of an asshole towards Palestine, as well as saying no one should be getting killed. That is regardless if they do anything against his personal views. He then concluded the tweet by saying he'll do better next time, which is like kind of on the YouTube apology tier of, you know, I'm going to take some time to reflect. But that apology, whether you're a fan and you accepted it or you're a hater and you didn't, it didn't really matter because Twitch ended up banning his alt account. So at the minute, if you check, Zach Raw is banned for supposedly 14 days. But what's confusing is his main account, Asmongold, still isn't banned. But to be fair, he really doesn't use that account that much anymore. So a day later, Asmon posted a response video. I've also done a response video in the past, so we've all been there. I also want to say as well, I know this is really off topic, but I saw a TikTok the other day of someone doing like a fan edit of the My Response video. He's provided a lot of proof like this to show how much of a degenerate I was. And I mean, I agree, you know, you got me. Now, the whole world pretty much knows what I jerk off to. You guys suck so much asshole. Seriously, stop doing that to me. So yeah, he posted a response video saying what his plans are going forward and also the reasoning behind the Twitch suspension. Now, in the video, he does seem to be very frustrated with himself and he takes accountability for his opinions and his behaviors over the past couple of years.
I think this has been something that's a long time coming, and I actually think that this is something that not only I deserved, but it's also something that I needed. I think that like getting suspended in this, I hope that it's one of the best things that's ever happened to me. And I don't know whether that's going to be true, but I'm going to try to do things differently and make sure to live up to that reality.
He then realizes that many creators and fans want to actually help him and talk to him on a personal level on why his remarks, as he says himself, are awful. He also especially feels really bad for the longtime fans that have been supporting him for, you know, well over 10 years because Asmongold, he is an old head. He's been doing this for a very long time. I mean, I'm coming up to like nearly 10 years of YouTube and I feel rotting already.
I'm getting all these people making negative comments toward me. Everybody is telling me like, oh, go kill yourself, I hate you, everything like this. Do you know who reached out to me? And they wanted to talk and have a conversation and see if I was okay. People that were Islamic and people that were had fucking family in Palestine. And how humiliating is that? I feel like such a fucking stupid asshole. I really do. I've been spending a lot of time talking to those people, and I've seen people like fans of mine, like I had viewers messaging me on Discord, like, you know, why are you saying this? Like, do you want to talk? Do you want to, like, you know, I'm willing to talk to you, and like, you know, like, let's try to work this out, right? We love you. And I scrolled up on their messages, and these are people that messaged me in like 2016, 2017, 2018, like, I love your content, I love your stream, I love you, right? And now they get to hear this from me. And I just feel like such a stupid, belligerent fucking asshole.
He also goes on to say that he doesn't like apologies, and he also believes that actions are stronger than words and wants to be held more accountable for that in the future. He also speaks about how streaming has overtaken his entire life because, as you know, Asmongold is kind of like XQC. They stream degen hours. I mean, personally, the most I was streaming was probably like 3 hours a day. Maybe I'll do like the occasional 7-hour stream, but after that, I'm old, bro. I need like 2 to 3 days of rest after that. But these are people that just constantly stream 12 hours a day. Pirate Software is another name that comes to mind as well. Just insane streaming stamina. But when you make streaming your entire career, it does also kind of become your life.
For the past, like, I would say like 10 years or so, if you look at my life like this, I would have said 10 years ago or maybe 8 years ago, streaming was like this, right? YouTube was like this. And now I would say that my life and streaming are basically the exact same size. And what I mean by that is that streaming is my entire life. Doing this is my entire existence. And I think that the process of that has been extremely unhealthy for me. And I think that what it's done is that it's allowed me to become such a one-dimensional person that I'm not even a person anymore. It's like I'm in Dark Souls, I'm going hollow or something. And I think about like all of the, you know, like I made a list of all of the things that I'm not doing in my life that I should be doing. And I was writing it down and I'm like, you know, fucking like, I'm just going and going and going. I'm like, oh my God, I think it'd be shorter if I transcribed the Bible. Like, this is insane.
And again, I know I'm going a little bit off topic, but I think that's one of the reasons why Critical took a little bit of a step back. You know, he doesn't really talk about insane, you know, charged drama content like I'm talking about today. He doesn't stream as much as he used to because I think something he kind of realized. I think he said himself in a video as well. I don't want to speak on his behalf, but as a creator, your life can become so terminally online in the worst way possible that any take comes from something you saw online, your entire life becomes something online. And I do want to mention this as well. I remember that Jacksepticeye uploaded a video a couple of days ago saying help, and he went into like, you know, a little bit of a personal tangent, how the internet right now is just full of hatred. It's full of anger, full of reactionary content. So he's basically saying that he wants to make changes going ahead and also to be able to live his life for once. I know there are so many people out there that love the guy and defend him, and if you watch him, fair enough, but I think we can all come to agree for one take in this entire video, the guy lives like an absolute degen. There are multiple clips online of just him doing the most inane things. Like, for example, that one time when he was drinking water and he was absolutely repulsed by it because it wasn't Coke.
Ah, it's better. Wow. Who the fuck drinks this shit? Yeah, I just, okay.
I mean, I get it. It was clip farming Andy, but then also there's been like, you know, rats in his room, cockroaches. So in the announcement, he actually says that he is stepping back from OTK and Starforge, OTK being the gamer org that he co-owns. He also says he wants to do more fun content because unfortunately, as we know, as I mentioned earlier, the internet is built of negativity. If you see Asmongold talk about a drama video or react to a drama video, or even if I cover a drama video, that will do an insane amount of views compared to, you know, other things. I mean, a really good example, every video I've uploaded this week when being in Australia is drama-centric, and the only one that wasn't drama-centric was talking about the hurricane passing through Florida, and that video flopped in comparison. Because unfortunately, people just really do like drama. That is an aspect of the internet that will probably never change. But I think what's happened with Asmongold after the takes that he had, he probably looked back on it and thought, you know, almost like a sobering thought, like, okay, I actually need to step away from the internet for a while and, like, you know, just actually focus on myself. He also shares at one point that he'd like to visit the Middle East by himself, not only as a way for him to get his life together, but also as a way of closure as well.
Growing up, the time I did, I was an r/atheism enjoyer. I have a very negative opinion of a lot of religions. I've had the experience firsthand of the negative effects of Christianity and, you know, the way that I view that. And I've always read a lot of very bad things about Islam. And I've made a lot of criticisms of it. I've talked to a lot of people about it. I've heard a lot about it, and I've been like watching things about it, and I've been like hearing people telling me this is the way it is, but I've never seen it. And I actually think that after all of this, I think towards the end of next year, I think I'd like to visit the Middle East and see it for myself. I want to see it for a historical perspective, right? I would love to go to Istanbul in Turkey. There's no ulterior motive there at all. But it's not just that. I'd love to visit places like Saudi Arabia, Dubai, any of the other places.
Now, Asmongold is a very divisive character. He has an insanely dedicated following, but he also has a lot of people that hate him. That response he put out, he is, to be fair, taking accountability. That was until he posted a response on his subreddit. You know, because in the statement, he basically said he was taking a break and stepping away from certain companies. When someone asked him to take a break, he said he would rather DEI, die, gaming video. What the fuck does that mean? So this could be him like kind of like goofing around with his fan base, or he isn't as sorry as he actually said on Twitter. After Asmongold's clip went viral, a lot of people came out to criticize him and then also ask why wasn't he banned? I mean, he was banned on his second account, but originally when it first happened, people thought, you know, why was he not banned? And then on top of that as well, a lot of people didn't accept his tweet apology. They thought it was very half-assed, but to be fair, if you put any kind of apology out on Twitter, no one's accepting that. And a lot of people also thought that the apology that Asmon was doing was damage control. He wasn't actually sorry. He was just trying to save, like, you know, brands or sponsors, because as people know, the one way to actually hurt a content creator isn't from their fan base, it's from their wallet. Even someone who I regularly mention on the channel, FuziTube, even he managed to somehow get involved in this, which is so weird to me because I swear like Asmongold and Fuzi are just from two completely different planes of existence. FuziTube is usually too busy telling Neon how much he hates him. So Fuzi basically had a go at Asmongold for supporting the conflict in Gaza, and then even got Andrew Tate to join in as well because FuziTube is Palestinian. This is like every 12-year-old child's civil war. You've got Asmongold against FuziTube with Andrew Tate as well. You even have people like Sneeko basically comment on it saying what Asmongold said was a really bad take. I know a lot of people don't like Sneeko and they don't really care what he has to say, but to be honest, he was in the Cruelty Squad video.
Can't even take a piss without some freak like you bothering me. What is it? Be quick about it. This trip is an absolute disaster. All of our deals have gone to shit. I'm readying myself to declare bankruptcy.
And then, of course, God's sake, can I stop talking about this guy for one? Aiden Ross. This is like the 5th video in a row of me talking about this guy. Can we stop like involving him in everything, please? So Aiden Ross had the most clip farmed take imaginable. This is like CEO levels of clip farming. So he didn't agree with Asmongold, but then made it about Hassan, wanting to get Hassan banned for, and I'm quoting here, showing a terrorist propaganda brainwashing video.
I also do want to call out Twitch for being hypocritical and biased. I'm not defending what Asmongold said because I don't agree with it.
Who do you think said the same thing on the other side?
Hassan.
He didn't.
Yes, he did.
No. Asmongold literally said...
No, he's wrong. No. Listen, what I'm saying.
He said the Muslim culture is inferior, that they have terrorism built into their religion.
I understand. Listen. But Hassan should put on a brainwashing terrorism video.
Yeah.
And nothing happened to him. I think they should both be banned. I think Asmongold, what he said was wrong, and I think what Hassan said was wrong. I think they both said wrong things.
It's crazy that I'm the one defending Hassan right now, but there's a difference between playing a video and literally saying terrorism is built into their religion and they deserve death.
And then, of course, there are a bunch of people dogging on Asmongold, saying the time he's going to take off now will be to probably clean his room, clean his house. I mean, as we know, he's been very open about his living situation. It's been infested with rats, ants, opossums, and roaches. There was one tweet in particular where he called out saying that Palestinian people were inferior, but then the tweet also pointed out his living situation. But surprisingly, Asmon is actually taking it upon himself to clean his entire room. And no, he won't be doing the streamer thing of hiring a cleaner. He'll be doing it all himself.
I'm going to try to, like, I don't know, like, clean up part of my house. I'm going to try to do this, and I'm not going to hire a cleaner. I think I need to do this for myself. I need to take accountability for bad things that I've done and for letting my life get this out of control.
Now, when you think about it from Asmongold's perspective, the takes he had were not the best. Now, talking more about OTK for a second, I know they've had a lot of controversies in the past, but I don't think it helps as well with Asmongold saying all these things about Palestinian people. And then the current COO of OTK, Tips Out, is actually Muslim himself. He himself did actually post a very lengthy statement talking about how he was personally hurt and people should open their eyes to a situation like this and to be educated. And then also ending the statement by making sure that everyone at the OTK company is happy and they're safe. A little bit more on Starforge PCs. That is another company that Asmongold co-founded, and because of Asmon's statements, a lot of creators actually chose to pull out of Starforge, like for example Urson, Detective Seeds, Stephen Must Prime. I swear this is like the 8th time this year you've had like a creator part from a company that they co-founded because of allegations. So of course, Twitter being Twitter, it's full of comedians that are basically the Joker telling jokes to himself and no one laughing. Now, that being said, some of these tweets were actually kind of funny. Like, for example, when Asmongold got banned, they did the Dark Souls font Roach squashed. There was also 4 items you can use to celebrate Asmongold's ban on Twitch, and it's just like a bunch of like body washes. And then someone quoting Asmongold with the Austrian painter. There's also Jay Aubrey, who makes really good documentaries. You should definitely check him out. And he was basically saying that because Asmongold got banned on Twitch, a kick deal is imminent. I mean, I know he's doing a bit, I get it, but like, I actually would not be surprised. Now, jokes aside, a lot of the fans were actually happy to see him own up to it and basically hope that he would improve himself in the future. Obviously, over the years, Asmongold has definitely solidified himself as a very controversial creator. So when he gets any kind of criticism, they're labeled up as like, you know, the woke mob or the haters, which a lot of people in the comment section were parroting as well. But honestly, I feel that's a tale as old as time. Like, if you're like a veteran YouTuber or like content creator, you will always have a diehard fan base that excuse you for basically any of your actions. You did have a lot of people on Twitter who basically thought the apology was just complete PR BS. For example, Midas, who basically said, yep, great PR stunt. You'll probably do the same thing next week. There was even people on Twitter quote tweeting Asmon's tweet, basically saying, well, if you really cared, you'd probably try to raise money for Gaza. Now, before I wrap this video up, there's one thing I'm going to be very self-aware about. During this video, I've been a coward, right? I've obviously been skirting around the issue, talking about with Palestine and Israel. I've really just been explaining what's happened with Asmongold, but not really gave a take. Personally, really brave statement incoming. I am nowhere near enough educated to talk about a topic like this. Honestly, because of how much I'm seeing it in the news cycle, it does interest me. But again, I still don't feel like I'm confident enough to talk about it. And I think, like, you know, a lot of people will call me a coward and stuff, and that's fair. But at the same time, I really feel like people are allowed to say that they're not allowed to talk about a certain topic. I think the point I'm trying to make is if you're not educated in something, you really shouldn't talk about it in, you know, such a definitive way, in such a black and white way. But also, that being said, if you want to learn about a topic and you want to educate yourself on a topic, I think that's also completely valid as well. You know, I've done loads of reactions to things in the past, and I always try to say, you know, I'm not like an expert, you know, I'm not an intelligent person, because at the end of the day, like most YouTubers, I'm just here to entertain, right? To keep people informed. So yeah, this was a pretty difficult video to make. You know, I wish I could have made like more jokes and made it a bit more entertaining, but you kind of can't with situations like this. And I did think to myself, like, is it worth even covering? Because I'm just basically reciting what happened, like I'm the fucking Daily Mail or something. But what's my entire take on the entire thing? These celebs can be a little bit silly.